found by the lumbar and the sacral spinal nerves, and these lumbosacral plexus usually innervates the muscles and the fascia and the skin of the hind limb, and some part of the pelvic cavity also. So the lumbosacral plexus, it supplies the muscle of the hind limb and some part of the organs of pelvic cavity also. And the important thing is, as you know, in the brachial plexus, the brachial plexus was formed by the last three cervical, then thoracic spinal nerve or thoracic spinal nerve. Same as here, this lumbosacral plexus, it is formed by the convergence of the ventral primary branches. So these are the thoracic vertebra, and it will be these are the lumbar vertebra, and it will be followed by the sacrum. Okay, so these are the lumbar vertebra, these are the sacral vertebra. So they having spinal nerves. So the ventral primary branches of the lumbar and the sacral spinal nerves, their convergence, they usually forms the lumbosacral plexus. Now, what is included? So as you know, lumbar vertebrae are the 6. Okay, there are 6 number of the lumbar vertebrae. So last three means 4, 5, and 6, along with the sacral 1 and sacral 2, because sacrum is consisted of 5 sacral vertebrae. So the ventral primary branches of the L4, L5, L6 means last 3 lumbar, along with the first 2 sacral spinal nerves, they forms the lumbosacral plexus. And these plexus are usually divided into 2 parts, as an anterior part will be present here, and there will be one part that is posterior part, that is behind the anterior part, and they anterior and the posterior part, they are connected by anastomosis of their branches. So now you can see the lumbosacral plexus is consisted of anterior and posterior parts connected by anastomosis of the branches. Now, the anterior part is formed by the 4th, 5th, and 6th lumbar spinal nerves. Okay, and it is situated between the psoas muscle. It is important. So you can simply, when one is the anterior branch and one is the posterior branch. So the anterior branch is formed by the L4, 5, and 6, and the posterior branch is formed by the L6, sacrum 1, and sacral 2 spinal nerves. Okay, so the posterior part is formed by the 6th lumbar, 1st and 2nd sacral spinal nerve. But all together, the lumbosacral plexus is usually formed by the last 3 lumbar spinal nerves and first 2 sacral spinal nerves, their ventral primary branches. Then the nerves from the anterior part of the plexus are very, very important. There are some nerves. So from anterior part means that is L4, 5, and 6. L4, 5, and L6. So the nerve from these plexus are iliopsoas femoral obturator. Okay, IOF, you have to recall it. Iliopsoas femoral and obturator nerve. Then the nerve from the posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus are cranial gluteal, sciatic, and caudal gluteal nerve. So these are the 6 nerves that originate from the lumbosacral plexus. So from the first, that is anterior part, there are 3 nerves, and from the posterior part, there are also 3 nerves. So you can see here, these are the actually, here you will find the lumbar vertebra. So 4, 5, and 6 lumbar vertebra. And here you can see sacral is here. So sacrum 1 and 2, they will form the anterior part. So this is the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, and this is posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus. And these are the various branches of the lumbosacral plexus. Okay. So usually they innervates the muscles of the hind limb completely. It will go here up to the digits also. So first nerve of the anterior part is the iliopsoas nerve. So this iliopsoas nerve, as you know, anterior part is usually formed by the L4, L5 and lumbar 6 sacral spinal nerve. So out of these three, the L4 usually form the iliopsoas nerve, and this iliopsoas nerve usually supply the psoas major, psoas minor and the iliacus muscle. So this is very small nerve that originate from the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus. An important thing is it arises its fiber from only L4 means lumbar lumbar spinal nerve, that is fourth lumbar spinal nerve. The second nerve is the femoral nerve, and it derives its fiber from the L4 and L5, means L4 and L5. The previous one, that iliopsoas nerve, it usually originates from only one lumbar spinal nerve. However, the femoral nerve, it derives its fiber from the fourth and fifth lumbar spinal nerves. And it is the largest nerve of the anterior part. Very, very important. This is the largest nerve of the anterior part. Okay. So femoral nerve is the largest nerve of the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus. Now it runs downward and backward, and it detaches one nerve that is called as saphenous nerve. So saphenous nerve is means it is a detachment from the femoral nerve, and this saphenous nerve passes in between the rectus femoris and vastus medialis. As you know, rectus femoris and vastus medialis are the muscles of the anterior aspect of the thigh region, and after passes from the rectus femoris and vastus medialis, the femoral nerve, it supplies to the quadriceps femoris and articularis genu. So usually this femoral nerve, it usually supply the muscles which are present or around the femur. Around the femur, there are muscles of the anterior aspect of the thigh region. And very important thing is the saphenous nerve. It divides into several branches to supply the sartorius and gracilis and skin on the medial aspect of the leg. So saphenous nerve, it divides into several branches to supply the sartorius and gracilis. Sartorius and gracilis are the muscles of medial aspect. Actually, in the medial aspect of the hip region, there are several muscles, and these muscles are arranged into three layers. First layer is sartorius gracilis, second layer is pectineus, adductor and semimembranosus. Then there will be four muscles in the third layer. So the femoral nerve, it gives one branch as a saphenous nerve that supplies into the sartorius and gracilis by several branches. You can see here, so this is from here, this is the femoral nerve, and femoral nerve, it detach one branch as a saphenous nerve here. So saphenous nerve, it supplies to the sartorius and gracilis by giving various branches. So these nerves you can see here, these nerves are present serially 1, 2, 3. 3 branches of the anterior lumbosacral plexus and 3 branches is of the posterior lumbosacral plexus. And this femoral nerve is the largest nerve in the anterior branch of the lumbosacral plexus. Now third nerve is the obturator nerve. An important thing is this nerve arises its fibers from all the lumbar spinal nerves. So simply the iliopsoas nerve is from the 4, the femoral is from the 4 and 5, and the obturator is from the 4, 5 and 6. Means 1, 2, 3. So 1 is for only 1, 2, that is femoral is from the 2, and the obturator is 3rd. Of the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus is from the 3, that is last 3 lumbar spinal nerves. Now you can see here this obturator nerve, it usually passes through the obturator foramina, and obturator foramina is the largest foramina of the body. And this obturator foramina, as you know, there are several muscles that are usually present near to the obturator foramina. These muscles are the obturator internus, obturator externus, and also supplies to the gracilis, pectineus, and adductor muscles. So these three are the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, and these mainly includes 3 nerves as a iliopsoas nerve. Number 2 is the femoral nerve, that is the largest of the anterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, and third one is the obturator nerve. And this obturator nerve usually arises its fiber from the last 3 lumbar spinal nerves. Then you can see here, this is the obturator nerve. You can see here, then the obturator foramina will be here. And this obturator foramina is usually covered by the obturator internus muscle, obturator externus muscle. And after passing through here, it also supplies the sartorius and gracilis muscle, same as the femoral nerve. Then the posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, it usually formed by the 3 nerves, that is cranial gluteal, the sciatic nerve, and the caudal gluteal nerves. Cranial and caudal gluteal nerve, in between these two, there will be one more nerve that is called as sciatic nerve. So first is the cranial gluteal nerve, and this is the anterior of the nerves derived from the posterior part of the plexus, that is lumbosacral plexus, and it is situated in front of the sciatic nerve. These nerves are situated like this. Number 1 is the cranial gluteal, then number 2 is the sciatic, and number 3 is the caudal gluteal. And its fibers arises from the 6th lumbar and 1st sacral spinal nerves. Okay, so it originates its fiber from the 6th lumbar and 6th lumbar along with the 1st sacral spinal nerves. Then it divides into 4 or 5 branches, and that leaves the pelvic cavity, and it supplies the middle and deep gluteus muscle. As you know, middle and deep gluteus muscle is of the lateral aspect of the hip region. And a long branch also passes between these 2 muscles, that is middle and deep gluteus muscle, and supplies the tensor fascia lata. So simply this first nerve of the posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, it usually supplies the lateral aspect muscle of the hip region. That includes the middle deep gluteus along with the tensor fascia lata. Then you can see here, so this is the number 1. Number 1 is the cranial gluteal muscle, and this is the number 2 is the sciatic. This is the cranial gluteal nerve. This is number 2 is the sciatic nerve, and here you can see the number 3 is the caudal gluteal nerve. Then sciatic nerve. So sciatic nerve is the second nerve of the posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus, and very important, it is the largest nerve of the body. It is the largest nerve of the body. Okay, normal nerves, I'm not saying about the cranial nerves. In the cranial nerves, there will be 2 things is important, that is longest cranial nerve is the vagus, and the largest cranial nerve is the trigeminal. However, here if you will see, the largest nerve of the body is the sciatic nerve, and it derives its fiber from the 6th lumbar and first 2 sacral spinal nerves. And it is a wide flat band that leaves the pelvic cavity through the greater sciatic foramina. Okay, greater sciatic foramina, it is usually formed in the hip bone by the sacrosciatic ligament also. Then it passes downward and backward and cross the muscles of the hip and thigh and dips between the two head of the gastrocnemius, and these heads of the gastrocnemius are the medial head of the gastrocnemius, lateral head of the gastrocnemius, and is continues as tibial nerve. Very, very important. So this sciatic nerve, after origin, it passes through the pelvic cavity through the greater sciatic foramina. Then it reaches to the gastrocnemius muscle. Then it will continue as tibial nerve. I will show you the photograph. First, you can see here. So this is I already told you that it arises from its fiber from the last lumbar and first two sacral spinal nerves. So this is the fiber that is last lumbar, and this is the sacral one, and this is the sacral two, and all together they will form a sciatic nerve. Okay, and it is a white flat band, and it is the largest nerve of the body. The sciatic nerve, that is part of the posterior part of the lumbosacral plexus. It is the largest nerve of the body. Then you can see here, this is the sciatic nerve. It will continues, and finally at the level of the, it will continues as you can see here. It is clear. So this is the sciatic passes through here, and it will pass through the muscles of the thigh region, and you can see here, this is here will be the presence of the gastrocnemius muscle. Okay, so gastrocnemius muscle. So it bifurcates here, that passes in between the medial head and lateral head of the gastrocnemius muscle. This is the tibial nerve. So tibial nerve is the continuation of the sciatic nerve. Okay, tibial nerve is the continuation of the sciatic nerve. Then it also gives some collateral branches, and these are also called as collateral branches of the sciatic nerve. So these collateral branches are a cylinder muscular branch, and this cylinder muscular branch it passes along the posterior border through the lesser sciatic foramina to the obturator internus muscle, and this nerve gives off in midway between the two sciatic foramina, that is the greater sciatic foramina and the lesser sciatic foramina. Then number second is a small muscular branch. So this small muscular branch is from the deep surface of the sciatic and passes backward between the nerve and gluteus muscle, supplies the gemellus and pass through it to supply the quadratus femoris. Simply you have to recall these names of the 5 collateral branches. The first is the cylinder muscular branch, next is the small muscular branch, then number 3 is the large muscular branch, and this large muscular branch, it supplies the biceps femoris, semitendinosus and semimembranosus. The number 4, it is the posterior or caudal cutaneous nerve. Number 4 is the posterior, or it is also called as caudal cutaneous nerve, and it is detached from the sciatic nerve about the middle of the thigh. It detached from the middle of the thigh, and it descends over the lateral head of the gastrocnemius under cover of the biceps femoris muscle, and it runs downward in company with the recurrent tarsal vein in front of the outer edge of the gastrocnemius tendon to the lower third of the leg. Now, important thing is this posterior caudal cutaneous nerve, it divides into number of the branches that is distributed to the skin on the lateral aspect of the tarsal and metatarsus region. So the muscles which are present over the tarsus and metatarsus region, usually they are innervated by the posterior or caudal cutaneous nerve. You can see here. So from here there is origin of the tibial nerve, and these are the collateral branches of the sciatic nerve. These are the collateral branches of the sciatic nerve, and these collateral branches are the 5 in number. These collateral branches are 5 in number. The last collateral branch is the peroneal nerve. Now you can see here, this is the peroneal nerve, and this peroneal nerve usually consists of superficial peroneal nerve and the deep peroneal nerve. Okay. So first thing is here, there is origin of a tibial. So tibial will be present over the posterior aspect of the plantar aspect, and this superficial peroneal, that is fifth collateral branch of the, that is the fifth collateral branch of the lumbosacral plexus of the posterior part. It usually divided into two parts as a superficial peroneal and the deep peroneal nerve. So this peroneal nerve, it is a very large nerve, detached about the middle of the thigh from the sciatic nerve, and it divides into two parts as a superficial peroneal, and I already told you that deep peroneal nerves. At the level of lateral distal extensor, at the level of lateral distal extensor, it will divide into two branches, that is superficial peroneal and the deep peroneal nerve. And it also gives off branches to biceps femoris and lateral cutaneous nerve of the leg, and it supplies to the skin and the stiple region. Skin and the stiple region. So it is divided into superficial peroneal and the deep peroneal. I will show you the photograph. You can see here the superficial peroneal and the deep peroneal. So superficial and deep peroneal, they are present over the anterior aspect of the limb, and the tibial, it will be present over the posterior aspect of the limb, or you can say at the level of the digits or at the level of the metatarsus. The peroneal nerve, it is present over the dorsal aspect, and the tibial nerve, it is present over the plantar aspect. So superficial peroneal. So superficial peroneal, actually, these are the three nerves, that is superficial peroneal, deep peroneal, and the tibial nerve. So these are usually reaches up to the digits, and they supply to the muscles which are present over the metatarsus and the digits. So superficial peroneal, it supplies to the lateral distal extensor, then peroneus longus, then it will supply to the, it passes between the lateral distal extensor and lower third of the leg. And important thing is it run over the metatarsus region because it is present over the dorsal aspect of the limb, and it will divide into three branches. Very, very important. So simply you have to recall that this superficial peroneal nerve, after passes through the lateral distal extensor, peroneus longus, and it will reach up to the metatarsus region and divides into three branches, and these three branches continues down as very, very important. One is the lateral dorsal abaxial, means you can make it three branches, 1, 2, and 3. So one is the lateral, one is the medial branch, and one will be in these two. So it will form the common at the level of the digits. So first one is the lateral dorsal abaxial, then there will be medial dorsal abaxial distal nerves, and in between these two there is common distal nerve that will divide into two branches as two dorsal axial distal nerves. So that will divide into two dorsal axial distal nerve. And the middle branch, very, very important, the middle branch joins the dorsal branch of the deep peroneal nerve. It joins the dorsal branch of the deep peroneal nerve. I will explain you. So superficial peroneal nerve, it will divide into three branches, and these three branches are usually these three branches are the lateral dorsal abaxial distal nerve, medial dorsal abaxial distal nerve, and the middle branch is continues, and it will divide into two parts as a dorsal common distal nerve, then it will form the two dorsal axial distal nerve. And very important thing is this middle branch joins the dorsal branch of deep peroneal nerve. It joins the dorsal branch of deep peroneal nerve. So you can see here. You can see here. Actually, here you can see this is the peroneal nerve. So peroneal nerve will go like this, and here there is detachment of the tibial nerve. Then deep peroneal nerve. So deep peroneal nerve, it is also part of the peroneal nerve, and this deep peroneal nerve, it is usually usually dips in between the lateral distal extensor, and after lateral distal extensor, then peroneus longus, and then between the lateral and long distal extensor muscles, and it gives branches to all the muscles to innervate them, usually at the dorsolateral group of the leg, and continues on the lateral border of the tendon of the long distal extensor and reaches to the hock region. Hock is usually formed by the distal extremity of the femur. It is usually formed by the distal extremity of the tibia, then 3 rows of the tarsal bone and proximal extremity of the large metatarsus bone, and it divides above the fetlock. Very, very important. After passing the metatarsus, it divides above the fetlock into dorsal and plantar branches. So it will divide in the dorsal branch and plantar branch. I already told you that this dorsal branch, it will go and join the middle branch of the superficial peroneal nerve. So this dorsal branch, it will go and join the middle branch of the superficial peroneal nerve, and this and the plantar branch, this plantar branch join the branch of middle plantar nerve to form a plantar common distal nerve. Okay, so this superficial will come, this dorsal will come and join the common branch of the superficial peroneal nerve, and this plantar branch, it will go to the plantar branch, which is branch of the tibial nerve, to form a plantar common distal nerve that divides into 2 plantar axial distal nerves. Then tibial nerve. Okay, so this is the last tibial nerve, and tibial nerve is usually present over the plantar aspect. As I already told you, it is present over the plantar aspect, and it is continuation of the sciatic nerve. After it crosses between the 2 head of the gastrocnemius muscle, I already told you. It passes along the posterior border of the superficial distal flexor and becomes subcutaneous by passing under the medial head of the gastrocnemius. In front of the Achilles tendon, I already told you that Achilles tendon is usually formed by the medial and lateral head of the gastrocnemius muscle along with the superficial distal flexor. So the tendon of these 3 muscles usually forms to form a Achilles tendon, and the collateral branches of the tibial nerve, it usually supplies to the muscle of the posterior aspect of the leg region. Now you can see here, this is the tibial nerve. So this tibial nerve, here you can see, this is the hock joint. So it gives some collateral branches here to supply the posterior aspect of the leg, and it will continues over the plantar aspect of the leg to gives some plantar axial and abaxial nerve. So you can see here, so branches of the tibial nerve, you can see here. So there will be one lateral branch, so it is called as lateral plantar nerve. And there will be one more branch that is called as medial plantar nerve. And this lateral plantar nerve, it will continues as lateral plantar distal nerve, and this medial plantar, it will give one common branch that will divide into 2 branches as a common axial distal nerves, and there is medial branch, it will continue as here. Okay, so it will form the medial plantar abaxial digital nerve. And this is the lateral plantar abaxial distal nerve. And this is the common. So common, I already told you that in the peroneal there are two branches. One is the dorsal branch, one is the plantar branch. So this plantar branch of the deep peroneal, it will come and join the common branch of the tibial nerve. And this dorsal branch, it will go and join the common branch of the superficial peroneal nerve. The last is the caudal gluteal nerve. And this nerve is situated behind the sciatic nerve, that is the largest nerve of the body. And it derives its fibers from the first and second sacral spinal nerves, second sacral spinal nerves, and it divides into branches that passes backward through the lesser sciatic foramina over the gluteus medial muscle and supplies the upper part of the biceps femoris. So these are the different parts of the sciatic. These are the different part of the lumbosacral plexus. So lumbosacral plexus, it usually consists of the two parts, that is the anterior part. Anterior part consists of three nerves, that is iliopsoas, then femoral, then there will be the last nerve is the obturator. Okay, there will be obturator. Then there in the last three, that is posterior part, this is the anterior part. There will be cranial gluteal. Then this is the sciatic. Sciatic is the largest nerve of the body, and there will be caudal gluteal. Out of this, only the branches of the sciatic nerve, they reaches up to the digits to innervate the muscles of the digits at the dorsal aspect of the limb or the plantar aspect of the limb. So this is about the lumbosacral plexus. If you want to ask anything about the lumbosacral plexus, you can ask from me. Now topic is open for discussion. Anything you want to ask, you can ask. No question? You have to ask some questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, where is this largest nerve arrive or deprive?
Yes. You can see, I will show you the limb. Okay, you can see. These are here you will find the lumbar, last lumbar, and here will be the sacral vertebra. Okay. So, if you can see, this is the lumbar 5, lumbar 6, sacral 1 to 5. Okay. So, the origin is between for all these nerves, you can see here. For all these nerves, the origin in between the last three lumbar and first two sacral vertebrae. Means if you will palpate from the above aspect or dorsal aspect of the body, so from the last three lumbar and first two sacral, in between these, it will be present. All 6 nerves. But in dissection, I can show you the exact position. Okay. It is hard to tell from here. Anything else? No question? You have to ask some questions. You cannot be silent. If you don't have any question, then thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.